Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I could do a kind of knit and yap video because I've been watching a lot of podcasts of people talking about their knit projects and kind of their life simultaneously while they talk about their fibercrafts project. And I've been loving listening to those while I knit myself and also while I'm working or something. It's just very calming and soothing to listen to people talk about the things they're passionate about. So I thought today I could sit down. I'm starting a new project. And kind of talk about why I started knitting and how it's been so far. Here's Bandit. Bandit, what's wrong? Come here. This is Bandit. He's one of our cats and he loves yarn. And so this is the current project I'm working on, which is just a scarf for my boyfriend in stockinette stitch. So it's really simple, really easy. I love doing this project because I don't have to think about this project at all. I just put on a TV show or I can just do it without thinking, and so it feels very meditative and I really like doing this project. But I've been I've been wanting to do something a little more challenging. So today I think I'm gonna do the eyelet stitch because there's a very pretty scarf that Vicky made. It does on TikTok, where it's like a very short and it's a very narrow scarf that's really beautifully, you can put it on your hair or you can use it as like a small scarf accessory, but it uses the eyelet stitch, which I think makes it more unique and visually interesting. So I kind of want to try that with this beautiful merino wool that I have, and also this, I think this is this is alpaca, I think, but it has like a very nice sheen to it that is very, very beautiful. So I'm quite excited to start this project. Oh, Bandit, stop. Oh, honey. Oh boy. So I started knitting because I feel like recently I've been really struggling with work in terms of kind of feeling like I'm doing something of value or something worthwhile, because I feel like when you're a junior, a lot of the work that you do is very, not necessarily mundane, but it feels like the impact that you make is not very directly shown in the work that you do. And so sometimes I feel like I can feel very insignificant and like I don't have a purpose in a way. So I've been knitting because I find that doing crafts project kind of helps me feel like I have a purpose, especially since it's so nice to kind of focus on something and then be able to achieve and like see the tangible results after a while. And so knitting kind of provides that sense of accomplishment that I think I really crave, especially since I just transitioned out of school. And as I said earlier, knitting is so meditative and it's just so nice to not stare at my phone. I feel like this year I've been doing a lot better with not staring at my phone because I've been reading a lot more, but sometimes my brain just gets really tired of reading. And so I think that's when knitting comes in, where I can just, most times with like stockinette stitch or like very simple projects, you can kind of turn your brain off and just do something. Okay. And I've always been that type of person who, like, if I'm not doing something that I feel like if I'm not feeling like I'm being productive, I can't sit still and relax and like enjoy a TV show. Like I always feel like I have to be doing something. And so I think knitting helps with that because I can feel like I'm doing something, but at the same time I can relax and actually be in the moment and like enjoy the show or the company that I'm having. Finished the first knit stitches and I think the merino wool really shows it really pretty. I didn't know how it would look because I've never worked with merino wool, and like I didn't know if the color would show up, but I think it does and I love it so much. I went to grab another pair of needles because I think the circular round for this one is too short, but I prefer holding the shorter needles because I feel like they make my hands cramp less. So I've been looking into getting the interchangeable needle sets, but I think they're a little too expensive for my current budget. Maybe it's like a Christmas thing. But yeah, I've been really enjoying also kind of slowing down and consuming less material goods like fashion items, because I keep looking at clothes and wanting to buy them, but then my closet doesn't have that much space and I don't actually need that many pieces of clothing. I especially love like knitwear and like sweaters, and so I feel like knitting is a way for me to be more sustainable and also to be more mindful of how much material goods I'm consuming. So instead of like now when I see a sweater, instead of thinking, oh, I want to buy that sweater, I'm thinking, oh, I want to make that sweater. And I think that's very cool, and I like that mindset shift, because then I feel like it's a better way to live life. It's a way more sustainable way, both to the environment and to my wallet. Well, not really. Yarn can get pretty expensive too, but I like that I take the time to make a piece that I will then treasure more because of how much effort I spent to make that piece, in contrast to if I just bought it from a store, then I'll probably get disinterested and like get influenced by social media to buy the next best thing when something new drops. Okay, this is gonna be the eyelet round, which I hope will go well. So I'm gonna knit one first. Actually, maybe I'll knit two, and then I'm gonna start the eyelet. I'm gonna have to watch my video while I do this so I don't mess up. Okay, so I'm supposed to yarn over, slip. Okay, then I have to knit one. Okay, and then pass the second over the first. I think this yarn might be a bit too fluffy for the eyelet stitch, because even though I create the holes and the gaps, I think the yarn is so fluffy that it ends up just filling up the gap. So you can't really see the pattern at all. I think you can kind of see it from the purl side, but yeah, I don't think you can really tell. I mean, that's a good learning experience. And I also kind of wanted to swatch this yarn because I want to see what it looked like. But I think it looks really pretty. It's like this very pretty, like soft pastel gradient, which I love. Yeah, I think another thing about knitting is that it's really taught me patience. I've always been that type of person who just starts building the IKEA furniture before I even read the instructions, and that's a huge no-go in knitting. I tried eyeballing a sweater to make for my cats, and both times I did it twice because I didn't learn my lesson. I did it twice, and both times did not turn out great, and so I think that has really taught me to actually read the instructions and to measure out things and to gauge swatch. I don't gauge swatch for scarves, but like for sweaters and stuff, I definitely will. And also just being okay with frogging things and starting over again. I think some of the next projects I have in mind, I really want to knit, what's it called? A bonnet. I really want to knit a bonnet for in the winter. I think I'll use this merino wool alpaca yarn that I have, and then I also really want to knit I forgot who's it from. I think it's from my favorite things, the blouse #1 with this merino wool, but I think I'll mix it with white merino wool so it's not just super colorful. I think I liked how this turned out with the little bit of white and color mixed together. And of course, I'm also making myself a scarf with this very, very colorful wool that I'm so excited about. If you follow me on TikTok, you saw me raving about this. I think I am set on making a scarf because I feel like it'll make such a beautiful like accent piece. Plus, it's so unique. I've also been really enjoying being a part of the knitting community. I feel like everyone's so sweet. I visit this yarn store, my local yarn store, and the woman who works there is so sweet, and she answers all my questions, and she helped me wound up the yarn and everything. And yeah, I just get so much inspiration looking at everyone's creations and like the unique colorways and also the unique patterns. I've been seeing a lot of, and I've been eyeing, but I don't think it's within my capabilities as of the near future, but this like duck sweater, I think it's called the Mr. Gustavo sweater. It's like this cute duck that I would love to make that. But I think right now I'm sticking to single balls of yarn because I'm kind of scared to have so many threads going on. I mean, this is the first time I've mixed merino with something, and even then it does seem a little more challenging, I guess, with merino as well, because I feel like it keeps getting tangled. Okay, I think I successfully frogged it. I think there's a bit of kinks in the yarn, but it should be fine. Oh no, there's a knot there. So yeah, now I know merino and alpaca and like more fluffy yarn is probably not the best way to go with an eyelet pattern, but I also learned that this merino wool pairs really well with white because it is so bright and pastel. I love it so much. Okay, now I have to separate them. I hope they haven't felted together or that there's no kinks. And so yeah, I think that's mainly what I wanted to share. I think going forward, I'd love to do more kind of sit down and talk videos, like more podcast style videos, especially with yarn. Oh God, what's happening here? Especially with yarn inspiration and like projects I've been working on. I've also been noticing that my palm has been hurting, like right here has been hurting from knitting. I think it's because of the needles I've been using. These ones are a little bit blunt, and then I think with the length of the circular needles might not be long enough, so then I feel like I keep like gripping it very, very tight right here. I think I'd prefer to use shorter, like more rocket length needles, but right now I'm just kind of trying to take more breaks from knitting and not just knit in one go, and also learning more ergonomic ways to knit. I've heard that putting a pillow under your project while you knit is important, but then I also find that I think this is very tangled. But I've also realized that I don't really like knitting with a pillow because then I move my elbows while I knit, and then like when I can't move them, I just can't maneuver the needle properly. So if any of you guys have any like suggestions for that, or like how you kind of minimize hand pain or hand fatigue, let me know. Okay, so there's a knot here that I can't undo, but I'll just keep it in the yarn. I think it'll be fine. I think also accepting little imperfections like that is very important in knitting, because like sometimes working with yarn is pretty difficult. And then wrap up this one. And there we have it, as if nothing happened, but I learned a few things. And this feels like one of those pottery videos that you see on TikTok with like Garbo or like creators who do pottery where they do a project but they don't actually finish it and they just squash it in the end. This is what it feels like, but I don't want to waste good yarn. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I guess this might be episode 1 or 2, I'm not sure, but I'll love to do this again sometime and kind of let me know your tips and tricks for starting off knitting, kind of the ergonomic ways to knit so that my hand doesn't hurt as much. And I'll see you guys in the next one.